Hi everyone, in this lecture we will talk about pass by reference using reference variables. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you one example. Let's say I want to create a function void, and that will, let's say, apply tax on my income. Let's say int income, I'm getting some income, and I want to apply, let's say, 10% tax on my income, and I want to see what is the income that I will get after applying this particular tax. Okay, so this function is going to change my income by applying a 10% tax. So I can say 1 minus 0.1, that is basically 0.9, into my income. Okay, or maybe I can say float tax percentage is, so I have a, let's say, 10% tax. Okay, so 1 minus tax into income. Okay, or I can say income minus income into tax. So I subtract something from my income, I pay some tax, and that tax is 10% of my income, and this income should ideally change. Okay, so let's say we have this function, so maybe I take in income as a input from the user. I say, okay, let us apply tax on this particular income, and I pass the income as a parameter to this function. And if I do cout income, what I should expect here? Okay, what should I expect here? Should my income change or will it not change? Okay, so what we are doing here is we are doing pass by value. So I will tell you what is this concept. So pass by reference, we are doing dot slash pass by reference using reference variables. Let's say my income is 100 rupees, and after applying tax it is still giving me 100. Okay, now what is the problem here? The problem here is we are actually doing pass by reference. Okay, so pass by value. So what happens is when you're taking input your income, it is stored inside a bucket called income, and when you're sending this income to this function, here you're creating another bucket that also has the name income. Okay, and here this value 100 is copied, and when you apply this formula, this income is changed, it becomes 90. And in the main, after calling this function, when you try to print income, you are actually printing this income. Okay, so basically there are two copies. Okay, and this copy is there in the call stack of apply text, and this copy is there in the call stack of main. Okay, so in the main, the actual copy is not changing, you're changing the duplicate, you're changing the duplicate. So what I want, instead of creating two copies, I should only have one copy of income, and that should get changed. Okay, so what we can do in that case is we can say we should pass this by reference. So I can write int and income. So now what is going to happen is we have a variable called income here. We also have a reference variable income in this particular function apply tax. That is another name for this particular variable. Okay, so it has a different scope. This income has a different scope, it exists inside this function, but the memory location that is there, it is shared with this particular function. Okay, so if I now change income here, then it is going to change the income here as well. So this will become, let's say, 90, and let us see how this is going to work. So if I build the code and if I run this, and if I give 100 as output, you can see my income after applying tax is rupees 90. That means we are working on the same copy of the income. So this is known as pass by reference using reference variables, and this is the most important use case of a reference variable that you will find across many functions. Okay, and maybe if you don't want to call it as income, you can call it as money, and here you can call it as money equals to money minus money into tax. Okay, so let's build the code and let us run this code again. So we are going to get the same output, and yes, it is working as expected. Now what did we do? We had this bucket income. Okay, so initially the program started from a main, so the main call stack was there. Then we made a function called to apply tax, so we added one more function in the call stack that created a reference variable money. So the name money exists inside this function, and it is a reference variable for this income. So this income gets a name money. Then we do some calculation, we update it, we say okay, 100 minus 10, it should be 90, and then this call is over and this name is also destroyed, and finally when you print income you will still see the output 90. But if you try to do see out money here, you will not get any output. Why? Because this variable does not exist. You will get a compilation error. This money only exists when this function is called. Okay, so this is the whole idea of teaching you reference variables. I hope this is clear, and that's all.